Okay, let's do a video. This is off right now. That means I took all the wires off. Everything's been changed around to run new experiments because we have enough data on what's going on here to actually figure out what we want to do or how we want to do it. Here's some of the data. I don't know if you can get a good shot of this. You can see the dates. Okay, so that's data. So when you got enough data, let's see another experiment that we did. Okay, so you can freeze the frames and see that we had enough data to figure out what we wanted to do. So we wanted to find out if this one could do what this was doing, because we looped it and looped it, and like I said, it wasn't going to go dead. It was going to keep continuing. So we did take the positives. Let's see if we can get that in frame. Positive, what is the other one, and the negative. And if you see that black cord in the back, let me point to it, put that up there. These two cords in the back, they lead to the battery over here. And this is the battery. Okay? So, this didn't work. Not in this machine. We could not loop this over. Well, actually, it's sitting on top of this. That means this battery and these are connected. All four. Let's see if we can find the other two. These two right here are connected to these two right here. So all four of these are connected to the battery. We then took the battery, and you see this wire right here? That's going to the solar. And we connected it to the battery. 12 volts couldn't turn this over, even with the assistance of the solar, the simulated solar. It would not accept it, period. It just wouldn't even come on. Okay, let's get that in frame. So I had to make sure that the thing was switched over so it would accept solar, and then we finally got this by hooking it here, okay, to this, which gave me my measurements on my, which is the simulated solar. So it's telling me the volts and the amps that I need for my solar cells. Where's my solar cells? Let's go down here and look at my solar cells, which are plugged in. Okay, and these are the solar cells. Okay, so what experiment am I using? First, let's look at this. People can do the math themselves, but some people don't. They want you to tell them, so we're going to tell you today. You see this 26.2 volts, and then you see 7, and it goes down to 6, 7 amps. If you times that, you should end up with that right there. So that's 215 watts. Okay? Now, when it gets over here, let's see if we can get a good shot of that. It says it's only 24 volts of the PV over here. PV is going into this thing. Let's see if I can get this. I'm pushing the wrong button. Okay. It says 5 amps are going into this. Okay. Now, understand. Let's get up here right here. Understand, it's more than 5 amps. Okay. Because, let's count. If one solar cell is 20 watts and you got 2, for each one of these cords right here, you have to count 2 solar cells. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's at least, at minimum, 8 amps. Let's see if we can get a good picture of that. 1.15 amps. The other one says 1 I don't know what I think that's for something else. But it says it's got an A on there, so say 126 amps. Okay, so you can see the voltage, you can see the wattage, you can see the amps. So if you only got 4 amps reading here, but you have 216 watts of power coming out of there, you have 7 amps and 26 volts pushing up through the, and this is the cord right here going around, and then up to the solar cell here. Why is that at 4? If you can't figure it out, this is the reason why you have people like me showing you. What's happening is this is pushing that type of energy in here, but it is both powering the load and charging the battery. This will go down if the battery gets full and stops charging. Okay? If you don't have no load on here, let's see. Do we have a load on there? Yes, we do. We have a load of 54 watts going into this system. And that's going into my grid, my wall. That's a tie grid inverter, so it's going in there. And then I can keep track of that because I'm saying, look, at 23.6 and 1 or 2 amps, that's what I'm going to get out in wattage with this machine. But let's see this. See that 23? So let's just take that 23 and say, okay, I see that 23.6. Got it. This is higher. 26. Okay? 26.3. So you got more energy going in than is going out. Now I can turn this up. So if let me see if I can get that both in the frame. I might. If I just turn this up, see how that's 40 going to 50? Okay? I can now measure what's going in my system, what's going out of my system. So I went to 24. Okay, and that went to 88. This is still 26. This is still higher. Okay? Now, here's the information that I wrote down. When I first started, I started at 13.1 and it was flickering to 13.0. So it's going back and forth between those two when I first, right. Now, it is at a solid 13.2, meaning that it went up because I'm putting more energy into this thing than I'm taking out of it. And when I mess with it, see how the 0 amps went down? Now I have no amps available for either my battery or my load. So what we do is we turn that down to where we had it, just a little. Okay, we can keep it there. And then go back over here and look at the amps. Okay? So that's how we do our measurements. If anybody understand that, I can now attach these right here, which, let me come back, let me set that up. Okay, I got it set up. That means I plug this in. Let's go around and find what the cord is. Around, okay. So this is going to these solar, which remember, these solars have to take energy. Okay. So let's turn on the switch. And then we can see, look at this. That's 95.1 watts that consumes. So what good is this? What good is this if you're consuming energy? Let's see, 95. Okay. And right now, 20. But we have an excess of 11 amps. Okay. So if we turn this up, let's see. Let's just turn it up. Come on. We need a little bit higher. There we go. Look at that. We got 118 watts. Where is that coming from? Let's look down here. 91. That's never going to change, no matter what you do. Okay? This right here, let's look at this other meter. And we see 218. Okay? Depending on what this right here draws, this will go up and down. But solar won't be affected. Okay? So now we're taking 102 watts off. There is no amps coming in here. Okay, so let's look at this other one. But look at this. It says 172 watts. And then remember, the PV is the solar power. Okay, so let's go through this. The battery is 13.1. Let's see if we are right. It means it's drawing power now, 13.1. Okay, so we're getting this power from the battery. So we know, anybody who can do math, if you have more than one battery, and it can be 6 in a row, 7 in a row, what's names, all I gotta do is monitor this with a computer, and one will charge and one will discharge. This is what we call overunity. And then we'll turn that back down when we want to charge. See, it's going down. And then all of a sudden, amps are now, well, see, let's go back to the amps. Go here. No, we're going back the other way. That's the wattage, and that's the amps. Okay? As long as there's an amp on there, guess what that's going to be? 13.2. Okay? And that's in charge mode. So the whole point is now putting in the system, instead of me doing it manually, to do this in a computer that does it automatically, monitors the battery when it's getting low, and then what? Go over to another battery. So even if that's drawing power, like I said, it's only going to draw that much power taken from the battery. Okay? Because we can plug directly, just like I have this plugged into this, I can also take a double plug, and let me simulate that. I'll be right back. Okay, let me tell you what's going on here, since we wanted to simulate this. First of all, we put this 3-prong cord on. Okay? So now we're running this, and we're running those lights. The light, let's see, from one of the prongs is running at the same thing, 94 watts. That's just not going to change, because when you're running that, it's going to always stay that wattage. Okay, that dropped down from 11 to 2 because I'm drawing power. Okay, this stayed at 13.2, meaning it is charging. And if we look at the diagram and zoom in a little bit, get it in focus, it is charging at 2 amps. Okay, and still giving, let's see why we ain't getting the load here. Oh, it ain't kicked in yet because I unplugged it. So that, no, guess what? I got to turn this up, because there it goes. Now I can turn it back down. Now I can turn that back down, because now they kicked over. See, you have to know how your equipment works. Let's see how many amps I got. I got 0 amps on the other side. That means we're not charging. Let's go down to 15. Come on. Go down for me. A little bit more. Doesn't want to drop down. I'm turning up. There we go. Oh. And still, I don't have any amps over there or voltage. Should see this. The whole point. I'm controlling everything from there. So once it dropped down to 15, it wanted to go off. I'm going to say I'm going to leave it right there. Why? Because I wanted it under that 26. Okay? And I'm up a little bit more than I should be. But that's okay. It'll settle down. But I'm not getting any amps coming in. Not amp, yeah, amps is on the amp setting. Coming in here. So that means that my battery is not charging. And we've gone down to 13.1 because I know my battery ain't charging. Okay, so like I said, if I can get this just right, because I splitted it. Now we're under an amp here. This still hasn't gone up. And the battery's still not charging. So I know I can get it that way. But what I'm saying is that once you get this right by adding another battery, I can use my computer to turn this up and down and charge whatever battery. So that means that if I don't have on my other battery, say it's a battery right here, and I'm charging that battery, nothing else is on it, but everything is coming from this, that this over here can run, and this right here can run a load. And because, and we'll see, will it run? Well, if we turn this up, even if I don't get no amps on the other side, if I turn this up, and this, look what I'm turning it up to. Okay, so if I turn that up, look at that. I can keep going up and up and up and up. Okay, and this battery is going to handle that. No amps is going into my battery or charging this battery. Okay, no amps is charging this battery right now, but it is running the load. And the battery is running the load. So the combination of the two are running it. And you see how that just jumped up right there? Go back and look at that. They just jumped up. So we know, see how it went down and went up? So like I said, even though, see how that goes down to 13.0, 13.1, which I originally had? Okay? So the whole point is, it's called what Nikola Tesla called this. Alternation. And if you alternate anything, you're going to get more power out of it. Why? Because all of our power is always stored in the battery. That's the whole thing about solar. So this one will go down. I says, oh, 13.0. So I want you to switch off of 13.0 and start charging the battery. Okay, and then dissipate from a battery you don't have here. But if it was a battery right here, it'll start drawing power from that, and it would switch back and forth. This is what we talk about overunity, and this system will run just fine. I can even go higher than this, and I can keep doing this, and I can say charge, discharge. Then I say charge over here, discharge that one. And I can say charge over here and discharge this one. And I can go back and forth, and I can do this with multiple batteries. That is what we call overunity. Okay, and this is just showing you that boom, hey, Now watch this. I'm gonna turn this switch off here, and then if we go here by me turning that switch off, let's see if I can get any amps coming in there. Zoom in. Come on now. You should switch over. What am I? Oh, I see why you ain't drawing any amps. Let's turn that down. See, both of these have to be off and go to the fresh battery. There's 15. And there it is. There's our 11. Now the battery is in charge mode. Now I'm doing this manually. So you have to picture in your mind it being done automatic. So these solars would just jump to the battery that needs charge, and that's all it would do is charge the battery. And then if it switches back and forth, what happens when you switch back and forth? Look at it, it's already at 13.1. Okay? That should explain good enough for people to do. And like I said, it's a whole lot of other electronics besides just the charge controllers and what's named, which is electronics in here, but it's a whole bunch of electronics that go on this solar cell themselves to make this system do what I want it to do. Okay? Now see, 92, let's see. And I went down to 1 amp. That means the battery is still charging slowly, but it's still charging. Let's see. 13.1. What did we start off with? Let's move this plug. We started off with 13.1 and 13.0. That's where we at. All right. That should explain this part of the experiment, what I'm doing, what I'm measuring. Sooner or later, people will get it, and how I'm getting it, that you can draw power from a system. You can draw power and still get the benefit of solar. You just got to have stored energy. And stored energy and how you utilize stored energy will can get. Now, here's the thing about it, what gets me so riled up from these people that don't say I don't know what I'm talking about. Our electrical system works the same way. When they lose power, they can borrow power from another plant. Okay? So anytime that you see a person says, oh, you can't do that, they already do it. Go and look up the videos, because I'm going to put a lot of videos in the descriptions. But go look up the video about the gyroscope energy. How they can put energy into a spinning disc and then get it out later. Go into sand battery. How they can put heat into a sand battery and then retrieve it later. It's all about what? Storage and retrieving it. But without alternating between more than one storage things, you have nothing. You just deplete one, and then you have to spend a whole lot of energy trying to charge one up when both batteries can be charged. And when it dissipates just a little, you jump to a fresh battery, and then that'll jump up real quickly, because you've seen how quickly that was. And then we'll be back up to 2 in a little bit. And then that fresh battery be down to 0, and which would be 13, still energy in there, and then we charge that back. And that's how we do over unity. People can disagree with it, they can contest it, but guess what? If you compare my definition compared to the other one that says perpetual motion, guess whose work? Mine. Working on my house. They are working. Theirs are not. That's how you determine on what is true and what is not true. I made up the word. I should have the right to say, this is my definition. Look at what I'm saying. Look at it and see if I'm correct. With that, I'm out.